Welcome to Conversations with Women and Hollywood. I'm Melissa Silverstein, your host. We talk with the women creatives who are making things happen in the film industry. Women in Hollywood educates, advocates, and agitates for gender equality in Hollywood and the global film industry. For daily updates on what is going on, please read us at blog.womeninhollywood.com. Also make sure to check out our resources at womeninhollywood.com. Subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. You can also find us on SoundCloud. Today's guest is the director Ava DuVernay. Her documentary, 13th, is going to be in theaters and on Netflix on October 7th. She's also the director of Selma, and she was the first African-American woman to receive the Best Director honor at the Sundance Film Festival for her film, Middle of Nowhere. All right, so here I am on Sunday morning with Ava DuVernay, and we're here to talk about her amazing, new, powerful movie, 13th, which I saw also on Friday night. I don't think I was in one of the places where you were.
Oh, really?
I was in the
I didn't know
Walter Reed. Yeah, there were 6 screenings
I
that
did not
night.
know that.
6.
That's nuts.
Nuts.
I did not know that until later the night.
Yeah.
When they told me that there were other ones going on.
Yeah, I looked on the schedule and I was like, 6?
Damn.
That's impressive.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, I guess the first question is, like, why were you driven to make this movie?
Yeah. I think this has always been with me. It's been a topic that I've always thought about. Even when I was a little girl, growing up in Compton, there was a heavy police presence. I would always see cops on my block. The interactions weren't positive, as I'd see officers interacting with the citizens of my community. Much more negative encounters than positive, which I think, is interesting as a child when I think back. I mean, most folks in this country who don't live in black and brown communities, regard the cops as for a sense of safety.
Right.
And imagine growing up and feeling just the opposite.
Right.
When you see an officer.
Right.
And so that's a real kind of completely different way to move through the world.
Right. And
so that's always been with me, and then putting kind of historical context to that, and cultural context to that, as I studied Black African American studies at UCLA, and then just in general, throughout my life, knowing people who've had to touch the incarceration institution, whether it be through parole, probation, or incarceration.
So what I found really interesting in the film, aside from basically everything, was how you took Birth of a Nation and showed that it became a racist anthem. And there are a lot of conversations about, do movies affect culture, or are they just a reflection of culture, like the power of movies? And I think that you really kind of laid it out and said this movie had so much power in its influence as things went on. So I just kind of wanted to get you to talk a little bit about that.
No, I mean, it's a great question, and it's a question that's been ongoing. I think, though, in the case of D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation, it wasn't the first movie to employ many of the cinematic tools that elicit emotion, that make people feel a heightened moment. Things that he was innovating. I mean, he was a masterful filmmaker in as far as craft is concerned.
Right.
Too bad he was a racist, and those images, seeing it for the first time, I mean, imagine for the first time even ever seeing a dolly shot.
Right.
Where it's moving, your eye can move around it, and what that does, seeing it in the culture for the first time, then apply that to whatever image it was. That is going to be a permanent imprint in the collective memory.
Right.
And so, yes, it's a conversation. Do we reflect the times? Do we, help craft the times? I think there's arguments for both, but in that particular film, I think it is undisputable that it was shaping the time in which it was debuting.
And interestingly, we have another film this year with the same name coming out. So I would imagine we'll talk about if that's going to influence or a reflection of our culture.
Yeah,
you wanted to
remains to be seen.
Comment on that.
Yeah. Hey, you tweeted about me.
Of course I tweeted about you. I tweet about you all the time.
You do.
I have to say.
We were looking at her Twitter feed. This is quite intricate. What the heck?
That's TweetDeck.
I don't know that.
Oh, yeah, you got to use it.
Okay.
Okay. Because then you see all your stuff right away.
That's cool.
Yeah, people love anything you have to say on women in Hollywood. It's just like...
I like women. I love women in Hollywood.
It's like every time I say something about you, the conversations, the diversity of conversations, all different kinds of people who are just like all of a sudden not on my Twitter feed and then engaging. It's so exciting.
Good.
It's really exciting.
I like that conversation.
Absolutely. So, when you were making this, did you have a sense of, it's also really addictive. I spend all my day.
I must tear my eyes away.
I shut it off when I have to actually work. So yeah,
I won't look.
Your mind just kind of eyes wander. Did you have a sense that this movie was going to be so of the moment when you were making it, like in terms of where we are as a culture in this conversation?
No. I wasn't thinking about it in those lines. I mean, certainly this summer as we're cutting, and we're seeing, another rash of videotape footage of murders of unarmed black men or black men who legally have firearmed by police.
Right.
It was a very heightened moment of connection with what was happening. Not that it hasn't been happening throughout the time, but this flurry of it this summer was quite disturbing. And so it was similar to me to the situation that we had with cutting Selma.
Right.
Because that summer was the summer of Ferguson.
Right.
The summer of Mike Brown's murder. And side by side with us cutting Jimmy Lee Jackson's murder and Selma protests. And so there's a second time that's happened with me, for me and Spencer, my editor, where we're cutting in the room in the day, and then we go home and watch the news, and we're seeing the very thing that we're cutting.
Yeah, that must be so spooky.
Yeah, it is.
So, what was the craziest?
I feel horrible that this podcast, people are going to tune in and say, is that James Earl Jones? I mean, who is speaking?
Well, you've been talking for the last 2 days straight, right?
My voice is usually sultry and but today
good.
I sound like a truck driver.
Well, we're gonna.
Sorry, guys.
Take what we can.
Yeah.
What was the craziest, most shocking thing you learned while making this movie?
Alec.
Yeah, right?
That Alec stuff blew me away. So there's a section in the film that delves into this organization where corporations and politicians are in bed together, primarily, GOP politicians, Republican politicians, conservatives, who belong to a group where they sit side by side with corporate interests, corporations, and actually take word for word suggested policy from corporations and put them through the lawmaking process. Right. Many of the laws that we abide by serve and were initiated by corporations who benefit from them. Yeah. That stuff blew me away.
Blew me away, too.
And so that was the biggest surprise.
Yeah. I just want to pivot a little bit to kind of like your amazing run over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. And do you think today, with the conversations that we've been having about women and people of color in the film business, do you think if you walked off the stage this year at Sundance having won Best Director, you would get the same opportunities or lack of opportunities that you got when you walked off the stage a couple of years ago?
Interesting. I think I think it would be a tad different. Okay. I think that all the work that you've been doing, I think all the work that Stacey Smith at USC has been doing, all of this kind of pushing this idea that there is a problem with stats and kind of calling people on the carpet, the success of some key women over the past couple of years, like a Jill Soloway, that has at least an awareness, even if it's tokenism, right? Where I wouldn't have gotten the call, oh, there's a woman who won Sundance, let's bring her in. Mm. Like, none of that happened when I won. Right. So I think I'd probably get some meetings. Right. More meetings. I don't know if I get the job. Right. But there'd be that kind of, what they do. You know what they do, that kind of pat on the back, let's do this to make ourselves feel like we're doing something. I can't say for sure that, I'd have more opportunities, but I think there'd be more of an awareness that maybe there could be. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just such slight progress.
I know, but it's interesting because I was just thinking about that, and I was also thinking about Queen Sugar. Congratulations on that! It's super interesting. Good, and I can't wait till next week. You were really deliberate about wanting only women to direct this.
Yes.
Was that a hard thing to sell to the network? And when did you make that decision? Like, how did that come about?
As soon as I realized that I wasn't going to be able to direct everything, so I went to pull a Soderbergh or a Fukunaga. You know, if these men can direct all the episodes of their series, I wanted to direct every episode of mine, which is a goal for me. I still want to do in some form. But at the time that I was first talking about doing the show, it was like a 6 or 8 episode season, which is manageable. When it became, the interest from the network and the studio became more robust, and it was a 13 order, there's no way I could do it.
Right.
And so immediately, as soon as they asked for the order of 13, I was like, oh, then I have to get people like me to do it. And people like me are women. People like me are people of color, women of color. And so it was just an immediate thing. Said it once, and they said, great.
Wow.
They said, fantastic. But, you know, you get that because today is Oprah Winfrey.
Right.
It's Oprah Winfrey. It's a woman-owned network.
I know.
You know, and it was immediate. I said, you know, if I can't do it, you know, I want to have an all-women directorial team, and I know exactly who I want to choose. People who I've been on the festival circuit with, people who I know are amazing. I'll tell you right now, the majority of them have not directed television. They've directed better than television. They've directed award-winning, world-traveling feature films.
Right.
And we'd be lucky to have them.
Right.
And I did all that. I was going fast, talking, thinking I had to pitch, and she's like, sounds great, Ace.
Yeah.
And that was it.
I mean, because those women who you hired would have never gotten on the list for another show because they would say they don't have TV experience.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about never, but they had been trying for a while.
No, I know.
You know, Victoria Mahoney, man, I mean, we would talk about the meetings that she was taking, the meetings that she couldn't get.
Right.
You know, that sister is powerful filmmaker, powerful voice, and it just always hurt my heart that she wasn't moving forward. Now, listen, I talked to Victoria on the phone yesterday. I was feeling some kind of way. She told me about 3 things she passed on. I was like, oh, you're just passing on shit now? That's how it is? Literally, she booked solid until next spring on like 6 different shows.
That's great.
And now she doesn't just have to take any episode.
Right.
She can be discerning. Oh, well, I didn't like the script. Oh, you didn't like the script?
That's
okay.
amazing.
Good.
That must make you feel pretty proud.
I'm thrilled with it. All of them are directing now in episodic, and that's important because they're all filmmakers. And it's, you know, as being an independent filmmaker, we have to still pay our mortgage.
Right. And
so to be able to do that through episodic, and still be able to have something for your films, is important for women because we run out of that gas.
Absolutely. Do you think you're going to do that same thing for season 2?
Oh yes, we are. Okay. A whole different group of women. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, you're so super exciting. I mean, I feel like this is just embedded and interwoven into your existence, and it seems so hard for some people to get it, you know?
Right.
And it's just like, this is me.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it's me just like the guys on Game of Thrones. It's them just to have 3 seasons of men.
Correct.
You know, it's just them.
Yeah.
Just how they feel.
Right.
So this is how we feel.
So the only other show that did a season, and it's not the series, was called Midwife.
Okay.
And they did a whole season with women directors
that's fantastic.
in the UK.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, we're talking to the foremost historian of women's images in television and film. Fantastic.
So let's talk about the Academy for a brief second. So
do we have to?
I mean, I feel like
all right.
In some respects, you know, they trying hard. You know, really trying, and it's really difficult to, you know, turn a ship around that's, you know, been going one direction for a long time.
Yeah.
So, you were part of the way bringing in more women of color and more women into the directing branch, which literally had like 35 people and now 35 women and now has like almost 100.
Yeah.
I've got the number off the top of my head. I mean, that branch is completely different.
Yes.
And I keep saying that. I was like, it's not going to happen the same way again. It can't.
Yeah.
But just by numbers. So what are your thoughts on that? I know, you know, you and I talked a lot before Selma, and you were like, you know.
Well, no, I mean, the branch that I entered into when I was invited in is very different than the branch that Sante enters in, and I'm happy that that's the case.
Right.
Is it enough to really affect change? Really, when you look at the numbers statistically, kind of maybe.
Right.
There needs to be another couple of big pushes.
Right. Wait and see. We have to wait and see.
Yeah, but, that was, it was a process, and, it wasn't an easy process.
Yeah.
But it happened, and it's important in that, the world looks to the Academy as the arbiter of achievement. It's important to some of us personally in that same way. Some more, some less.
Right.
But in general, I remember being in a cab in Bamako, Mali, and the cab driver asked me, "What do you do?"
Uh-huh.
And I said, "I'm a filmmaker." And he said, "Have you won an Academy Award?" No.
Yeah.
Kind of turned away. Turned away like, and there's no reason to really talk about this. Like that is the gold standard.
All over the world. Like everyone wears Star Wars t-shirts in countries and Nike. I mean, this is the brand.
It is the brand.
And so that's how people know. That's interesting. So you went from basically using your own money to make your earlier movies to now over $100 million of someone else's paycheck.
Can we just say why that's even in the news? Do you want to tell the people?
I think hopefully people know, but I mean...
I don't think they know. You should, please. Let's get it on record.
All right. Well, so I just was reading that thing about the tax credits, and then I was just like, I think Ava's going to have $100 million, and that was kind of like how the story started.
No. Let me say it again. The announcement of Wrinkle in Time, the film that I'm working on now, being awarded the largest California tax credit in history. This journalist goes in and says, "Oh, what is the threshold for getting this award? You have to make a film for at least $75 million. Wow, Ava, at least we know for sure, has a minimum of $75 million. Huh, I wonder if it's more." So then she tweets me, and I give like this vague, cute tweet back where I don't confirm, but I at least acknowledge Melissa, because when Melissa tweets you can't ignore her. And then you just start digging from there, and you wrote this piece that got picked up. When I tell you around the world,
I know.
I've gotten hits on that that have come in the little packet at the studio since Japan.
Right.
Friggin' South Africa.
And now it's in every story about the movie.
I know, but that came from you,
I know, it did. That's I kind of like, I feel really good about that. Aside, I don't necessarily care about that, discovering it, but that it meant so much to people.
Yeah.
That they were just like, finally. And then the people who were not in the business were like, what? That didn't happen yet?
Right.
So it was just really a great educational piece.
Yeah.
And so I think you're such a great story that people aspire to. And you're also inspirational. So it's like, okay, she made movies with her own money, and now Disney's giving her $100 million to make this, A Wrinkle in Time that's starring, like, basically everyone on the planet. Mindy Kaling, Reese Witherspoon, Oprah Winfrey.
Great cast.
Headed by a young girl of color.
Yeah.
And you're just like, holy crap. This girl, this woman is, like, living the dream. So just, I think people want to understand, like, any pearls, I feel like I always feel like you have a clear vision, you know what you want. What is it people should take from your success?
I think the only thing that I had starting out, and I picked up a camera and started making films really late at 33 years old. I had another job as a publicist. Before that, I never went to film school. The only thing that I had starting out that I think a lot of filmmakers don't have was experience with other filmmakers as a publicist, seeing what they do. And that constant striving for achievement and awards and money and bigger budget. And it being a distraction to their work. Right? So all I tried to do is just focus on my work and not focus on the rest of that. That's how I started.
Right.
Making and distributing my own small films. My first 3 films I made by hand with my own money.
Right.
Cobbling together what I could and actually distributing them and getting them out into the world on my own.
Right.
And so never imagine any of the rest of this. The only path that I can say is that I just focused on me and my work. And I was happy in that every step of the way. My biggest aspiration, I wanted to be the Black Lynn Shelton. I just wanted to make a film. Like every year. That lady makes like a film every year if she wants to. And she supports herself through episodic. And I just thought, wow, that would be fantastic if I could be consistent. That's all I wanted. And so I think, it's a lot about working inside as opposed to kind of seeking permission and authentication from the power structure. This is the only thing that I did differently than I see a lot of people doing.
So now you're going to be the Black Christopher Nolan, though.
Am I? Oh, my gosh.
I don't know if that was the right name, but I was just trying to say big budget male director.
Okay.
So any big budget male director.
All right.
I mean, there are no women to compare you to. There's no.
You know what? But I won't be that. You know why? Because the films I want to make don't need the stories I want to tell. Don't necessarily need that much money.
Right.
The stories that Chris Nolan wants to tell needs quadrillions of dollars.
Right.
I don't know how many more stories I need this much money for. And, but, it's good to have the experience.
To you. That doesn't necessarily.
The budget?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I can't have too low of a budget that I can't tell the story.
Okay.
And this is great that it gets me into a place where I can manage a higher budget. But no, I'm looking at projects now that, are in lower ranges. Because they're great stories.
Do you get offered every movie now?
I get offered every Black historical drama you've ever heard of. The first Black firefighter in Wisconsin. He has a great story. Can you do his movie? I get offered a lot of first movies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I don't get offered a lot of women's movies. I don't get offered a lot of kind of mainstream stuff. I get offered a lot of Black history, Selma Part 2s,
Mm-hmm.
But it's better than zero.
Well, right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Love talking to you.
Always happy to see you.
Thank you for listening to Conversations with Women in Hollywood. For more podcasts and daily updates, please go to blog.womeninhollywood.com. For resources, to subscribe to our weekly newsletter, and to help support the work of Women in Hollywood, please go to our website, womenandhollywood.com. Thank you. This podcast is produced by Adam Shartoff. Music is by Laura Karpman.